a story about Bitcoin and pizza. I'm sure you've read a lot about Bitcoin over the last week, so I'll do my best not to bore you. Last week was a very special day in the history of Bitcoin though, because on the 22nd of May 2010, the first purchase of goods in Bitcoin happened. What was this pioneering purchase? 2 pizzas, bought for 10,000 Bitcoin, the equivalent of $41 at the time. Even back in 2010, this was a lot for 2 Papa John's pizzas. A decade later, those 10,000 Bitcoin have been worth as much as 630 million when Bitcoin hit its all-time high, and I thought I had made some bad financial decisions. So what does a decade of technical data on crypto tell us? Well, crypto assets are still very new compared to more mature asset classes like shares and bonds, but this is not to say that we don't have any information on them. They're not as new as they were when a couple of guys were trying to figure out how to buy pizza with it, for example. And so looking back at the historical data of Bitcoin over the last couple of collapses, the last collapse was in 2017. That was the last major collapse. This was the supply reduction year, halving as it's called, the previous year in 2016. The dip from 2017 lasted until 2019. Halving also happened in 2020. We've had the dip in 2021. And since the all-time high of Bitcoin earlier this year, the price of crypto have basically collapsed. Since 2010, the average fall from the record highs have been 50%. As the number in dollar terms has gotten more and more, we've noticed that bigger and bigger news has been made out of all of this. But is volatility bad? There have been a lot of negative news about crypto for sure. But what if I told you that there was a company whose shares fall on average 31% a year? And that on 5 occasions, the shares of the company have fallen over 50%. Twice it's fallen over 90%. In the first few years, the volatility averaged over 100%. Last year, it fell 20%, then rose 90% before falling nearly 15% again. Any idea what this listed company with an average 80% volatility in its 24 years could be? Bitcoin shares this metric with the world's dominant seller of goods on the internet, Amazon. So volatility can be your friend. Yes, Amazon stock has had a similar level of volatility to Bitcoin, especially in its first decade. And according to Bloomberg, Bitcoin appears on track to become less volatile than Amazon in the next couple of years. Volatility will only continue with Bitcoin until the market cap reaches a certain level of depth, i.e. the number of people that hold Bitcoin. And so can it be a digital reserve currency, or is it always going to be a speculative trading bet? And Bitcoin is rare in that it's got a fixed supply, fixed mining schedule, and really that plays an important role in the supply demand dynamics, especially also in the price discovery, because Bitcoin's annual price has grown by 223% a year in the 11 years that it's been around, which is just ridiculous. Some would argue that the whole volatility element is what investing is all about, and there's no point investing unless you have volatility, but that's a speculator's game, I guess. Its unique attributes, Bitcoin, has propelled it to a status as the world's digital reserve currency, and it really has a unique position amongst the 8,000 or so cryptos that exist out there. So volatility can invoke emotional responses from people, especially when it comes to crypto. And I personally don't think that the volatility is about to stop anytime soon.